Hey everybody, I'm Michael Gray, also known as Arglefump. This is a book review. It's Go the Distance! I believe this is book number 11 in the Disney Twisted Tales series. The premise of the series is that they take these famous Disney movies and they add some sort of dark twist to them. So, what if Jafar had gotten the lamp in Aladdin? Or what if Anna and Elsa in Frozen had been separated from birth? We've also had a couple of variations where they sort of like twist the premise around a bit, hence the name Twisted Tale. So, what if it was Peter Pan, but all the characters were 5 years older? How would that change how Wendy reacts to everything? And let's see. The Little Mermaid one was like, okay, well, what if Ursula actually won? And then, again, jump ahead like 5 years into the future. So this one sort of takes the movie Hercules. I like the movie. It's a great movie. And the song Go the Distance has been stuck in my head for like the past 3 weeks as I've been reading this book. I can go the distance. So, it's about Megara. That's basically the twist. The twist is Megara. What if Megara was like the main character? It doesn't really feel like it's a retelling of the story. It feels more like a sequel to the movie Hercules. And you can see the tagline is, what if Meg had to become a Greek god? So the premise is that, hey, Megara has to become a Greek god. If not, she's just this mortal woman and she stays on Earth and she can't be with Hercules. No, she's got to become a god. That way she can live with Hercules forever in Olympus. Zeus demands it. Zeus demands it. Actually, kind of scary scene, towards the start of the book where Zeus lays down these demands and he's mean and angry. It's actually kind of scary. Because the Zeus in the Hercules movie is such a nice, great family guy, and that's not exactly the Zeus of Greek mythology. No, he's kind of a bit nastier in the actual Greek tales. So this book has more of a nasty Zeus, but the other gods are more or less the way they are in the movie. Like Hades, I know the cover shows Hades being creepy and evil and scary, but he's a lot like he is in the movie. He's just a guy who cracks jokes all the time while plotting to take over the world, and most of the jokes are about himself and how angry he is. And he also has a girlfriend named Persephone, which you'll know if you've studied Greek mythology. So that's Hades' wife. So she wasn't in the movie, so this book kind of goes into that, saying, hey, he's got a secret wife, girlfriend that he really, really loves, and she really, really wants to be with him, too. And she sort of intervenes on Meg's behalf. Meg does have a lot of gods intervene on her behalf, sort of regularly. I saw one reviewer complain it's a deus ex machina. It's like, where do you think the term deus ex machina comes from? It's from these Greek and Roman tales of the gods. So, yeah. Alright, so, in order for Megara to become a god... Oh, I forgot to mention, this book sort of takes place at the very end of Hercules. At the very end of Hercules, you have the big scene where Hercules goes up to Olympus and he talks to his parents. That's where this book begins. It really feels like a direct sequel rather than, the Twisted Tale retelling version. It just feels like a direct sequel. If they made a direct-to-DVD sequel based on Meg, it could be like this book. It could be. So she has to go on a quest to prove her worthiness of being a god. And the quest is she needs to save this woman. This woman died, so she has to go down into Hades and save this dead woman. And the dead woman, she married Meg's husband/boyfriend character. So you might remember her backstory, the reason why she doesn't want to fall in love with Hercules is because she was badly burned by love in the past. She fell in love with this man, she gave up her soul to save him, and then he just ran away with some other woman. And that's why she was very, very angry, and that's why she was working with Hercules. That's why she was working with Hades throughout most of the movie Hercules. So the book goes more into that. And basically, it was sort of a trick by Hades. He made her think that, the man had given up on her after a week when in reality it had been 2 years. So that was just a mean trick on Hades's part. He just wanted Meg to be bitter and angry. So, yeah, he's not a nice guy. So, I mean, that's her quest. And she has a bunch of adventures. It kind of reminds me of the Percy Jackson series, which is very similar. It's like we have this person sent on a quest to go through all these Greek mythology episodes. So first, she has to fight an Empusa, and then she teams up with Phil from the movie, and she meets she meets the guy who abandoned her, and she meets pretty much all the goddesses at one point or another. So she meets Athena, she meets Aphrodite, she meets Hera. She has to go through the land of the dead, so she has to go on the boat all the way through the river. There's the adventure with the Stymphalian birds, I believe. I think they were referenced in the movie, during the song Zero to Hero. I think that's the bird, like, that Hercules grabs by the neck. But if you know your mythology, they defeated him with, like, these loud clapper things. So that was actually kind of a fun episode that, the birds come to attack her because she's trying to take apples off of a tree. And it's really dangerous, kind of a long, dangerous fight. And, okay, so they go across the River of Death. And, she has to go through the underworld trying to find, just trying to find her way through the underworld. I did like how pain and panic were in the book as well as Hades, because other books in this series have kind of downplayed the comedy relief. So, like, Mr. Smee in the Peter Pan book, he wasn't there at all. And, in the Aladdin book, how Jafar has his funny sidekick parrot, wasn't there at all. So I liked how the Dark series still kept the funny sidekicks. Granted, Pain and Panic did not show up a whole lot, but Hades still did make jokes. So that felt a bit true to the story. And there's also some drama with Meg's mother, because she's really looking for her mother. And I liked how the book kind of turned it into the story of, why am I forgetting his name? I think his wife was Eurydice, the guy who played the music, and, he played so beautifully that Hades let him take his dead wife back to the world, but, the condition was he could never turn around and look at her, so he had to walk all the way on foot without turning back and looking at her, and, obviously he did, and so they do that story with Megara, but she is a true hero, and she does not turn around and look back behind her to see her mother, even though Hades gives her the exact same terms and conditions that you can't turn around, because he's purposely planning on bringing her mother there to screw her up, but she didn't. Yeah. Also, dramatic backstory with her mother, like her mother, like the father abandoned them when she was like 6, and then mom died in a tragic chariot accident, and that's part of the reason why Meg is so hard and world weary, is she had all this tragedy when she was young. Overall, I'd say it's good. I mean, this is a fine Percy Jackson style adventure. I saw people complain, oh, I wanted to be more mature and tougher. But I'm like, those are the Percy Jackson books. This is more like Percy Jackson for a little bit younger age, I would say. But that doesn't make it bad. I thought it was a good story. I mean, this is a perfectly fine hero's quest that Meg goes on. I like the mythology aspects. I'm also thinking that Hercules was also one of the heroes that actually went into Hades and defeated... he went into Hades and tried to bring a soul back, so there's only like 3 or so stories where that happened. Hercules was one of them. But that also kind of happened in the movie, though, right? He brought Meg back to life, so I guess they couldn't have really gone into that, because that would have been contradicting the movie. Hercules is mostly absent, so he shows up in a couple of scenes, but he mostly stays in Olympus. I find it hilarious, like, he gives an offhand comment that, now that he's a new god, he has to take lessons on god-mortal relations, and one of the big important first rules is don't tell the mortals everything. Basically, tell them as little as possible. That explains a lot about mythology, yeah. So, overall, I would recommend it. I thought it was good. Also, more depth to Meg's character that go into her love of music, so that was interesting. I liked how she interacted with Pegasus and Phil. That sounded realistic to me. Like, I could hear Danny DeVito's voice in my head when I was reading all the lines from Phil. So I thought that was highly accurate with the characterization. And yeah, I thought it was cool. So I definitely recommend this book. I'd probably give it like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. There are a few things that I would change a little bit. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing more Hercules. Some of the smaller adventures could have been a little bit tighter. And I would have done more with the Aphrodite, because Aphrodite she basically gives these long, flowery speeches, and I feel like those could have been tightened up, or, I feel like they could have been improved. And in the end, they kind of turn it to, Meg is the god of vulnerability. And that seemed a little off to me. It didn't seem to match with her quest. I guess it kind of does. I don't know. That felt a little bit off, so I'd sort of tinker around with that. But still, I like the book overall, and I would recommend it if you enjoyed the other books in the Twisted Tales series. You'll probably like this one.